All right, welcome back to Miss Burley TTC. Today we're going to do Vlogtober day 5, actual day 5. The last one was actually day 4, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to move right along into shore excursions and ports today. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe. You know you want to. All right, let's get going. I'm coming from the perspective of a solo cruiser in her late adulthood, no, early young adulthood to early adulthood age range. There we go. So if you're cruising solo like me, I typically will book all my excursions through the cruise line I'm going with. That way I don't have to worry about any mishaps and getting things can get a little muddy when you're doing things by yourself. So just for safety reasons and for monetary reasons, I go through the cruise line. And I'm going to tell you why I do all that now. So I've done Carnival only, so I can only give my perspective from that angle. And I have found that I get a good value with their excursions. I compared prices with other services, and I'm either not part of a major group to get the group discount unless I coordinate with like a group on Cruise Critics. If I do something like that, I might be willing to go with them. But again, if I don't really know anyone, like one particular person in that group, I'm not going to do a group excursion with people I don't know generally. I want to do something with like through the cruise line, and I know it's people I don't know, but at least I know where everybody's on the same ship. So it helps out. So yeah, I think I get a good value with them, and they're going to price guarantee so that if I find a better price for the excursion that I'm going on, I can get that matched and get credit for the price difference, I believe. But I've never found anything less cheaper than what the excursions I booked, and I haven't really wanted to. And plus, if I book it, like if I look at stuff I want to do ahead of time online, I can either change it when I get on the ship or just cancel and get a refund. And it'll come back to me as onboard credit that I can get refunded for at the end of my cruise. So quality, and I'm reading off of their values that they have listed, and I'm just giving my own perspective. Quality, their excursions, I believe, do have like good value. I pick the ones that I'm gonna get a lot for a bang for my buck, and then they have like reviews on their website for when you're actually booked on a cruise. You can see the reviews for the excursions, and people actually give some thoughtful reviews and let you kind of know how things are gonna go, what they recommend, and what they would they'll give the pros and the cons from their perspectives, and that helps out a lot. They also will include like age restrictions, weight restrictions, which is important for if you're like a cruiser of size, and they have like height restrictions. All that stuff is important when you're doing excursions that are like very active and involved. And it's convenient because, like I said, I can get it straight through the ship cruise line I'm going with. I don't have to worry about hunting down somebody to pay or meeting up with people at a certain like group and like missing out or anything like that. They're reliable. Like, so if let's say the excursion's running late, if I was booked with an outside excursion that wasn't through Carnival, if I'm late getting back to the ship, if I miss the when it departs, then I miss out and I have to figure out how to get to the next port. That's on me. But if it's through Carnival, the ship will actually wait for you to get back. And so I just like that reliability, because that would be kind of my worst like situation to deal with, is like being left at the port. Just because that would be a lot of a headache for me to try to figure out when I plan so well. And they do handle all of the itinerary arrangements. So all you literally have to do is sometimes they'll have you meet on the ship in like an auditorium area or like a designated area in front of the casino, wherever it may be, or they'll have you meet right outside the ship, or even after you go through usually the little Carnival owned store segments. Like when you go to Cozumel, after that they'll have you meet in a certain area right outside of that area, and then they'll like guide you They have your name on the sheet, so it's very legit. And the experiences I've had with the excursions I've done with Carnival have been great. Like, I haven't had one excursion, except for that, and they do consider excursion the Behind the Fun tour. I didn't really care for it on the particular ship that I was on. But other than that, the ones that I did get off the ship, I enjoyed. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about those. I have videos for all the excursions I've done, and I'll link those in the box below so you can have them, and you can just click over them and see, and I'll talk you through it. So I have you get a little booklet here when you get on board. You can go to Excursions Desk, and it's like a fun ashore, and they do make it out to your particular cruise. So for my cruise, that was the 13-day cruise. They have it listed here for the times the ship leaves and returns, and the typical hours of the shore excursion desk. So, and again, I don't know if they do this just for the Journeys cruise, but I've seen these booklets on other ones. But they have a list of the excursions available here that you can do and try out. And so Grand Turk was the one that I actually won. No, I didn't win. My friend Carol, who I had I met, I think, the day before or something. Like, I can't remember exactly where we met, but we met and we had like a good little conversation. And so her daughter didn't come with her, so she invited me to go. She won an excursion at the Fun Aboard, a Fun Offshore, I think, seminar or show they had that was free. And so it was a raffle she won, and she thought about me and invited me. And so we did like a little, I think, coast to coast. Yeah, it was the Coast to Coast Grand Turk Safari. And so that was free, but it only cost $70, $69.99, so $70 for adults and $45.99 for children. It's one of the top picks, and it's 2 hours. So if you've never been to Grand Turk, I will recommend it. Well, it was free, so I mean, I wouldn't have been. Maybe I would have done ATVs in Grand Turk, and that's what I would recommend, because you can actually do something and you'll still get a tour of the islands, because it's not that big, and you know they take us around the whole thing, and it was just cool learning about the history. But it was free, so I enjoyed it. But that's kind of biased because I didn't have to pay for it. But I'd recommend doing ATVs there, just because they have a lot of like ground, not a lot of trees, so it's probably a good place to do it. You can go up on the top of the highest point of Grand Turk and look all around. So it's cool. Let's see, the next port, and in that little booklet they'll tell you what to do at every port here, and then they put like their top recommendations there. So they have this on every ship you get on, I believe. You just have to go to the Shore Excursions Desk on your first day when you get on the ship. That's the time to look around, get your ship tours, all that stuff, so you can get all this information. The next one, I believe, is Dominican Republic, Amber Cove. And Amber Cove, I did the Monkey Jungle and Dominican Flavors for Families. That was a fabulous tour. I loved it so much. We got the crazy bus ride to the safari, not safari, it is like a protected area for animals, and you got to see a lot of the crazy driving, a little bit of the area, and they do take you by the beach area so you can walk around when you're done with the thing. But it's a 5-hour excursion, so it's your whole time while you're there basically, and you still have time to shop a little bit in that little port area when you get back off the excursion. But I enjoyed it because we got to see how so many different types of animals, and squirrel monkeys. That was just a good experience. I haven't really been around animals like that, but they just jump right on top of your head, and you get to feed them. Really cool experience. And then you get to try like different flavored foods. I believe, was it food or coffee? We tasted coffee. Went to a family's house right beside the reservation and tasted some coffee and learned about the different plants that treat stuff that problems that we have, where those medicines come from. So that was good. I did make a note here for myself that I would add a stop for more local vendors. That way we could have done more shopping, because I feel like the place they took us, like on that beach strip, everything was overpriced. Like, I know the exchange rate. You need to know the exchange rates when you're doing excursions so you don't pay too much. But I knew they were overcharging for some of the stuff they were asking. Like, I wanted to buy Amber because that's my first name. Like, and I'm like Amber Co. But they wanted, I think, she wanted either $25 or $35 for just like this little piece of amber. And that's way too much if you know the exchange rate. It's like 200, I think, Dominican pesos equal American dollar. Like, she just wanted way too much money for that. And I wasn't having it. But she gave me a little bracelet. I didn't pay for it. She was just trying to get me to buy something so bad instead of just putting down to a reasonable price. What I would have paid like $15 for it, but definitely not $25. I was just like, no, not happening. I think I got a cup or some money. I got just collecting money. I stopped collecting cups after a while because I was like, everybody's charging too much, or they didn't take us to a place that had local vendors where you could buy the stuff from. Everything was operated through the cruise port area. So that would be addition for that Carnival could add in, that would make that a better excursion. But it was great either way. And that was $80 basically. Okay, the next one was Colombia and Cartagena. I did the party bus, Cartagena Party Bus. I found out about that excursion the same day, like that morning, I believe, or the day before. And I was like, okay, I didn't see, because I didn't have anything booked for Cartagena. I didn't know what I was going to do, just walk around. But that is definitely not a place where you can just walk around. Like, you have to catch some kind of shuttle from the pier to go into the city. So I guess that was the city we went into. So I'm glad I did a party bus because they, I felt like it was a good value. It was only $49.99 per person, no matter if you're a child or adult. And they had alcohol. I didn't drink any of that because it was like kind of homemade. They had like alcohol and Coca-Cola. So I did drink like some of the Coca-Cola. Like, they had ice and stuff you can use. But I just drank the Coca-Cola like out of the bottle, whatever they had passed around. And it's like a little dance party. So I posted a fun video of it, like the experience. The guy, the party bus leader was really awesome. I enjoyed him. He was so much fun. And I felt, let's see, I made a note saying, wish we had more time to stop for places without bus, for pictures. Yeah, for photos without the bus moving. So I was trying to take pictures of the city while we're moving around. And for those kind of excursions, if you get on the bus, try to sit on the end seats where you're next to a window, because it's really hard to take pictures when you're inside and you're trying to look over somebody. And like, it's just, you're packed in that bus because they try to fit a lot of people in there. But I wish they had, like, you know, more stops so we can take more pictures. But I was able to shop a lot because they took us to a big market area where there's people just, there's a fort and there's people just hounding you for sales. But I made some good deals that day because I know how to say no and I know how to negotiate. I got those skills from my mama. So I bought some nice jewelry, and I'll do another video later on after my next cruise of all my cruise jewelry that I collect and everything that I bought from the cruise. I have a lot of stuff, but because I can get a really good price for it. So Cartagena to me was fun because of that. But I also wanted to buy an emerald because they're known for doing like the world's largest emerald exportation there. And again, they're overcharging for that stuff. We went to a nice little area that the guy knew. It was just a shop of vendors, like in this little building, kind of like a flea market we would consider. And she had some nice stuff in there. Like, I got a bell that was handmade I really liked, and my aunt was collecting those, so I bought stuff like that for her. But then I wanted to buy a little piece of an emerald for my birthstone, and again they wanted $70. It was ridiculous because the money, the dollar to peso ratio for Colombia is even greater than it is in Dominican Republic. So I just refused to pay that much. Like, I just wasn't having it. And I had to get other stuff for other people, like coffee for my parents, and I was collecting those bells, so whatever. But that's an excursion I would recommend in Cartagena. I think it's the least expensive, and I feel like you get the most value. It was 3 hours, and so you still had time to do stuff out there. So what I did, once we got back on the ship, you know, people were still there for a while. I went to do stuff that wasn't so crowded, like eat, and you can go to the spa. That would be a good time to take advantage of those spa specials. So, all right, Costa Rica, Lyman. Which one did I do? Circle it. Okay, I did the Caribbean Cacao experience, and my thoughts on that. Well, the bus tour guide was good. It was just raining, and it's a rainforest, I believe. Yeah, it's a rainforest, so it was just raining like sporadically. It was kind of gloomy there, and it was towards, like, I don't know. Well, I was prepared because I wore like workout clothes, kind of I didn't wear anything fancy. But there's definitely people who weren't prepared for the type of excursion, and I'll just say read the descriptions under the excursion so you won't be fooled or like be shocked, because there's people out there in flip flops and it was muddy and they're getting, like, you know, dirt all over there, and then they had umbrellas. I bought my poncho because I'm always prepared. And I knew where the environment we're going in, so I had a good time. One thing, it was a good value. It was $59.99, and some of that goes towards the organization for preserving the rainforest. So I appreciated that it was doing some good with that money, and I feel like I got a decent tour of their little. It's not a museum. I don't know what to call it, but it's like the girl, like they have a little area where the girl makes the chocolate. I thought we were going to be making a chocolate or cacao. Yeah, cacao. I knew how to pronounce it. I forgot. Whatever. Anyways, I thought we were going to be making it. So that's why I was kind of like a little like, I kind of disappointed. But we got to watch her make it, and we got to try it and stuff. So I did buy some coffee from that place, but it was a good experience. We got to try some little sweet bananas that were good, and we got lots of good pictures of animals like sloths, monkeys. So I enjoyed it. It was definitely a good experience to say I've done it, but if I could do it again, I would want to do something where we can actually make the chocolate or something. That would be cool. So you'll have the opportunity, because it says you'll have the opportunity to learn and participate in the chocolate making process. That's not true. Not everybody could participate. Like, it was just like maybe one. Okay, I'm about to pick back up from where I left off. I had to switch environments because I realized my battery was dying on the computer, and that's why it's going to look glitchy for a good segment of the portion before this. And I didn't realize I left my charger at my parents' house. I'm at my parents' house now, and I'm going to finish up this video. But anyways, back to it. Basically, what I was saying is that like maybe 1 or 2 people got to get up and make something with the actual chocolate, like grind the coffee beans and go from there. But yeah, and it's something to know about the Costa Rica port area is that you can't just walk from, like, you can walk from the pier to get stuff from. There's like some vendors right off by where the pier is, but you can't. I don't believe you can walk from the pier area out into the city. Like, you have to leave by a bus or something, or some kind of mode of transportation. I can't. Whatever. So the next one in the booklet is for Cozumel. Cozumel was the last port we went to, but it's the next one in the booklet, and the last one that I actually did excursion for. So I'm going to talk about that some. This is the only excursion that I end up keeping that I booked ahead of time, and I would highly recommend it. You can't get a refund for it once you book it. I didn't even try, but it's the Giving Back with Purpose Community Tour, and it supports the Ciudad de Angels or Angeles. I'll put a link to their Amazon. Like, you can donate to their organization by just shopping on Amazon like you regularly do. You don't have to pay anything extra for their organization below as well. But they did such a great job. Like, I felt like this was probably one of the best excursions because we got a good tour of Cozumel. We've got a meal was included, and you learned a lot about the people there, the culture, like religion, and you got to see a lot of the school. Now, I wish we had a little bit more interactions with the students, but I do understand that was probably overwhelming for them just to like just get right out of school and then have to interact with people or whatever. I don't know what they're going through, but I felt like their mission and what they're doing there is really good. So I'll put a link. That's also one of the videos I made of the excursions I've done. I just haven't made videos for Costa Rica and Grand Turk. So I may just put something together and just put it up there. I was just trying to really make it a thoughtful video every time I put something out. But that excursion was $70 basically for adults and $65 for children. And the meal was like delightful. It was really good. I've been to Cozumel many times before, and I went to actual restaurants, and I didn't like it so much, but it was like a home restaurant, and so there were local residents that would come in and eat or a little place that we stopped at. But I had like a pounded chicken dish that was really good with some rice, and the guy who was our tour guide, Cantor, was actually awesome, and he told me like our names are the same in different language. So his name meant Amber and like Yugoslavian or something, because he said his dad was from Yugoslavia or Slovenian and his mother was Mexican, something like that. But anyways, that was a tour that I would highly recommend. And it's 3.5 hours, and I felt again like I got a good value. And when I got back to the port area, I was still able to purchase the alcohol I wanted to and get back on the ship. There was a lot of ships in the port that day, like 8, so it was crowded, and I was glad to have done excursion. Last port that I went to on this particular cruise was for Mahogany Bay, Rotan Island of Honduras. And I didn't do excursion for that port, and I'm kind of glad because it's a big beach. So I would recommend that port for just like doing your beach day and doing some shopping, because they do have some local vendors off towards the side where they have the kind of cruise line vendors available. So I liked it, and I recommend going to Crazy Ice Gelato while you're there because that's really good. So that's all I have to say about the fun time, like, well, your little booklet you get for excursions with Carnival. So check that out and plan accordingly when you get on the ship. Now, also, when you get off to every port, Carnival will give you, crew staff members would give you one of these little pamphlets for every port you get off at. So I just have 2 left for Grand Turk and Cartagena, but in them they'll have like little shopping lists of places you can go to, and it's like a little scavenger hunt. So you'll see a lot of Diamonds International. That's because they have their own little scavenger hunt, and they own a lot of places. They probably make a lot of money by owning a lot of places at different ports. So you can go and collect stuff and check it off your list. And of course I left the little blue pamphlet with like, because there's a okay. So I actually found that little blue pamphlet here. This video keeps cutting off and I have to start this over again. It's driving me nuts. Anyways, this is that little blue pamphlet that you'll get, and it's a charm tracker with Diamonds International. They're at every port, and I'm sure Carnival has a little piece of this if they don't own it. But basically you'll get the charm bracelet at, I think, you get the bracelet at a presentation, and a free charm then you'll go to every port from there and collect one of the charms you can put on the little bracelet. I didn't get the bracelet because I thought it was cheap looking, but thinking about it now, I'm going to probably start collecting them so I can put it in my scrapbook, because it's just something nice to have in my scrapbook, but I wouldn't wear it. What I did like is the little scavenger hunts they had in the pamphlets, because they have ones where you can go to places like, well, for Diamonds International, I've gotten 2 pieces of jewelry. And then one was from like a local jewelry place. So I think this is from the local jewelry place. And it will be in the scavenger hunt booklet. But I have my birthstone earrings. I really like these. I got these in 2015 and I still wear them in my second holes. I think it's real sterling silver. It hasn't turned any oxidized at all. Then I have my 2 little fake pearl earrings. I love these. They're so cute, and I wear these all the time. Again, 2015. So I enjoy the little scavenger hunts because I can pick up some nice freebies without spending any of my money, like saving my money for things that I actually want to buy. Also for the scavenger hunts, they'll have places like Sol de Rey, I believe. There they have the jewelry that changes colors, or all items in store are like change colors. They also have the bamboo collection there, because it's another name they have for it too, for the stuff where they sell all the bamboo like blankets and all that stuff. So you can get a free bamboo necklace that stains your neck green because it has little green beads on it. I don't know what they do. And then you can get a little kind of color changing little ring that, depending on how big your fingers are, you may could just put it on your pinky. Kids can definitely put them on their fingers, or if you have skinny fingers, you can definitely put it on. But it's just something nice to have. They have them in different shapes, like heart, stars, and like starfish, I believe. So just something nice to have, but nothing like to brag about. But I really do like those little studs. Those are awesome. So collect those if you can. All right, so that's that. Last little bit that I'll talk about, I think I've already mentioned it, but if I didn't, I'll say it again. Why I like booking through the cruise line. So let's say the weather is not doing well, and like right now with all the stuff we have going on with the weather, the earthquakes, they cancel a port area or reroute from it. They'll credit you back on your cruise for the amount of that port and the excursion. So you'll get that money back immediately on your cruise onboard credit. And then you can get refunded for it if it's like meets the guidelines, I believe, at the end of your cruise. Whereas I don't know how it would operate with like a different vendor outside. You may have to go through some steps where it's a little bit more inconvenient. So it's very convenient to just go ahead and book it through the cruise. I know if you do a group excursion with like a group from Cruise Credit, I think they collect cash when they start the excursion, so you're still not out of money because they're reliable. So that's something to consider. But that's all that I have about short excursions and ports right now. Is just try to get the best price by going through the cruise line and showing them a comparison if you find a better deal. Be sure to take advantage of the scavenger hunt, especially if you're not booked for excursion, you have nothing else to do. That's a great time to get those free little tokens, I would say. And then also try to, if you're thinking about pre-booking, I would probably be mindful, unless you're certain that you're going with other people, you all want to do excursions, so you want to get a ticket before it sells out, then I would not pre-book, because I end up changing 75% of the excursions that I went on when I got on the ship. And then it was it became like a hassle because I was changing them like within that last week. Don't make any changes if the week before to the week of the cruise, because it just gets very complicated when they're trying to do the accounting for the book. So it looked like my credit card was charged twice when it really wasn't. And I just created like a situation for myself that I didn't have to. So if you're going to pre-book your excursions and you're not going to make any changes, then do it like at least, I would say, a month in advance. But if you're going to wait until that week before or the week of, then just do it when you're on the ship. Okay, so that's all for now. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. I'll be happy to help where I can or refer you to any other cruise bloggers that I know that may have the answer you're looking for. That's all for now. If you like this video, you like these topics, go ahead and let me know by hitting the thumbs up. That way I'll know that I need to keep making more of these types of videos. Until next time, bye-bye.